good. That was great. Let's do it one more time. Nilu's been the best. Nilu, I think, was part of maybe the first two. The show started during the pandemic on Zoom, and I think Nilu was part of the second one. And maybe the first repeat scientist, because she's so great. Yeah. And over Carolyn. Carolyn's another scientist who's done this, and she's awesome too. And the Bitcoin guy made sure our finances are secure. He's been giving great advice, and that's why we can't afford that TV anymore. Okay, we've had a lot of foreshadowing this show, but the next person up is a co-producer for the show. He's incredible and really sweet, and everyone talks shit about him, so everyone be nice. Make it loud. He's a professor at Loyola. Make it loud for Greg Matthews, everybody.
I'm so excited to be here. I have 3 kids. It's so hard to get out of the house. My favorite part of producing the show is that I have an excuse to just leave. My wife is traveling, though, and I needed a babysitter, couldn't find one, so I paid for my mom to fly out. She's with the kids right now. They're with Grandma. They love it. I'm here with you. These are my priorities. So, yeah, anyone need a babysitter to come out tonight? No, you're all on both ends. You're either on one end of it or the other end. All right. So what is this middle part of the show between the scientists and between the comics? Well, what is the language of science if not statistics? And I am a statistics professor, and so who better to talk in the middle of the show? She works in the office next to me, and she sits there every show and just shits on me. We're going to talk about statistics today, and I want to talk a little bit about the statistics of climate change because, that's the topic of the show, and that's what I'm a professor of. Good talk, Greg. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the statistics. We all know that climate change is happening. We know that the Earth is warming, but do you really know why? Has anyone here actually looked at the statistics? I mean, probably because you're all climate scientists, but pretend that you're not. Here I want to show you the temperature is changing. The Earth is warming. We all agree on this. Carbon dioxide is going up. And that's bad. The oceans are heating up pretty rapidly, and the ice sheets are melting. She hates ice sheets. So it's pretty cut and dry, right? It's pretty clear that climate change is happening, bad things are happening. There's not that much to say on this side of the argument. So climate change is happening, and that's the end of the story, right? But I have several more minutes allotted to me by Dia. So ... Is there more? I would say yes. Why is the climate change debate only one-sided? Everyone is talking about, yes, 99% of scientists agree that climate change is happening and it's caused by humans and it's caused by CO2, right? But why don't we ever hear from the other side? So I went out and I said, who's the most famous person on the other side? I want to hear from everyone because everyone's voice deserves to be heard, right? So everyone's voice deserves to be heard. And so I found the most famous climate denier I could find, and it's this man, Meatloaf. So I looked into his research.
He's dead.
That's not the point. He did some great work before he died. And so I looked into this man's research, and I realized that I don't really care what Meatloaf thinks about climate change. I don't even really care what Meatloaf thinks about meatloaf. So I decided to forget what he had said, and I decided to go a different route. And what do they always say on Twitter when people are having arguments? People are like, I think global warming is happening. They're like, no, you're a cuck or something. I don't know. That's what people yell on Twitter, right? You're a beta cuck. You guys ever been in these things before? All right. So what do they yell? They're like, Google it yourself. Do your own research. Do your own research. Do your own research. I'm a statistician, so that's what I did. I went and did my own research, and you know what I found? I think both sides are wrong. I agree. Meatloaf's clearly wrong. Like the data shows that the Earth is warming, but is it really caused by CO2? I did my own research. I'm a tenured statistics professor. I say tenured only because I know it bothers people. I'm a tenured statistics professor, so I went and did my own research. Now, I need to say before I get into this part, I need to, it's like, you know how when there's a drug bust and there's a cop and I say, are you a cop? You have to tell the person they're a cop. So I need to know if anyone here is in the Masons or the Illuminati or Knights Templar or the Deep State. Is anyone here? You have to tell me it's part of the laws, okay? So before I get into this, I just need to know if anyone falls into any of those categories. And obviously I'm wearing this for obvious reasons. The government is, listening to my thoughts. This is some big stuff I found. I've uncovered this and I'm unveiling it tonight for the first time. This is the results of my own research. This is serious science. Please, no giggles. So what I did is I went and I got some data, and I found that if you look at the Atlanta Braves wins per season and temperature over the last 60 or so years, there's a positive relationship between this. Now this is silly, right? This is only one lousy correlation. It doesn't really matter. One is just a coincidence. That's kind of neat. But then I went deeper and I found out that also the Georgia Bulldogs, the number of wins is highly correlated with temperature. Now two's starting to be a coincidence. One means nothing. Two, coincidence. Three, though, that's rock solid proof, as we say in the biz. And I also found that the Atlanta Falcons, the number of wins per their season is also highly correlated with temperature. Do you see this? Do you see what's happening here?
28-3.
I'm a Patriots fan. What does that mean? Is that a taunt? We won. All three of these are Georgia teams. All three of their wins are correlated with temperature over the last 60 years. I've done the research. Temperatures are warming, but it's not it's not caused by humans and CO2. It's caused by these Atlanta teams winning games. By the way, I should say that every statistic that I'm showing you right now is completely true. This is all real stuff. I didn't make any of this up. This is all real statistics. So now you're probably thinking, great, Greg, there's a positive correlation. But if you know anything about statistics, if you took an intro stat class, what are you probably saying about this? You're probably thinking, sure, they're correlated, but is it significant? Show me the p-values. You want to talk about R squared for a second? Get your R squared out of this goddamn room. You want to increase in R? Let me talk about R squared for a second. You've derailed this whole talk. You want to increase your R squared? You can just add noise to that model, add as many variables as you want. It's always going to go up. If you're going to do something like that, use adjusted R squared, for God's sake. Sorry about that. Meta knows. What was I saying? Show me the p-values. You clowns want to see some p-values? I'll show you some p-values. Boom. This first of all, there's a lag over here. So boom. P-value. Highly significant. A linear regression. Highly significant. Okay, that's one. What about this one? Highly significant. 10 to the negative 11th? Are you crazy? Super significant. What about this one? Boom. 0.00698. It's a little bit less significant, but that's way less than the magical number of 0.05. All right? So now that's 3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. P-value's way, way less than 0.05. Significant. But there's 3 of them. So probably, what are you saying? What do you have to do about multiple hypothesis testing? Bonferroni? Get your goddamn Bonferroni correction out of here. I did a Bonferroni correction, and they're still significant after Bonferroni correction. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is real. And so then I thought, wait, this doesn't make any sense. But then I started connecting the dots. Here's what I did. So what's causing global warming? My theory is that it's Georgia sports teams. And we're fucked, right? Because Georgia's in the college football playoff. They won 12 games this year. It's not getting any better. So here's Georgia. And then here's the pieces that I put together. Georgia. The Falcons play in Georgia. Who owns the Falcons? Arthur Blank. And what does Arthur Blank own? Or what did Arthur Blank own? He went to Super Bowl 51. With the Falcons, they lost 28-3. Or they were up 28-3. Arthur Blank owns Home Depot. And Home Depot is really good at doing things that the media thinks are great for climate change. Right? And who loves that? Greta Thunberg. You knew she was going to show up, right? So what I think is that Arthur Blank has his Home Depot, and what he's doing is this is so absurd. Okay, no. What I think Arthur Blank is doing is he knows that it's being caused by Georgia, but he's trying to pretend that it's caused by CO2. He's perpetuating this lie so that no one catches on to what I have found. Now, what else is there? The Atlanta Braves. Who owns them? Ted Turner. He doesn't own them anymore, but go with me. Ted Turner he used to own the Atlanta Braves. And what does Ted Turner own? CNN. Are you starting to see it? He owns CNN. And who is Ted Turner? Who did Ted Turner used to be married to? Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda has Jane Fonda Climate Pack. And Jane Fonda Climate Pack, they once accepted an award in 2009. Greta Thunberg won a 2009 Glamour Award, and she couldn't be there in person. And Jane Fonda accepted the award. Are you starting to see this? Ted Turner has CNN, his entire media network, trying to tell us that it's man-made and caused by CO2. But it's Georgia sports teams. I've done the research. The Georgia Bulldogs, they also play in Georgia. And who's Georgia's most famous alumni? Herschel Walker. He's in on it too. It goes straight to the Georgia Senate race. The Georgia Senate race is the center of everything. And Herschel Walker, he's in on it too. He knows it's being caused by Georgia. And what he's doing is he's playing the other side of it. He's saying, I don't even have to pretend I don't even have to accept that it's really happening and it's not being caused by CO2. I don't have to perpetuate that lie. I'm just going to have all my followers just completely deny it and put our heads in the sand, right? And what did he do? He ran for U.S. Senate. And what did he run as? He ran as a Republican. And then I got to here and I thought, you know what? None of this makes any sense. I might be crazy. And I looked at it and I stared at it. And I thought maybe these men are all just telling the truth and they're doing a good job. Maybe Ted Turner's telling the truth and it is caused by humans and CO2, and maybe Arthur Blank is, trying to save the planet by doing good things with his corporation at Home Depot. Probably not. And I stared at it and I stared at it and I thought maybe they are telling the truth. And then it became clear to me. I swept everything away. Now do you see it? Liars! They're all liars. Do you see it now, sheeple? So what's my point here? So by the way, I had a meeting with a student today, and I left in the middle of it to go buy tinfoil. I bought a roll of tinfoil because I was like, I gotta leave. I gotta do something important. And it was to buy tinfoil to make a tinfoil hat. What's my point here? So I have a couple points. One is that here's some serious points. I've taken the tinfoil hat off now, so you know that I'm being serious. Don't actually do your own research unless you're like an expert in the field, right? If your job is to do research, great, do the research. If you're Joe Shithead on Google, don't do the research. You don't know what you're talking about, right? And it's okay to say, I don't know. Look, all the climate scientists here know more about climate change than I do. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to admit that, right? I probably know more about statistics than most of you do. But even I've been doing this for like 20 years now. Statistics is still difficult, right? You know this is complete crap that I just showed you. But like, if I was really to say, why is it complete crap? I don't know if many of you could give a real answer as to why and really debunk this argument, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, don't do your own research. We have to trust these experts. Listen to the experts. Listen to Nilu and listen to and what was the guy's name? Ho? Listen to this Ho guy on Twitter. That's my point. David Ho. Nilu's Ho. All right. Finally, shameless self-promotion. Follow the show on Uncontrolled Variables on UV Show. I've been banned from Twitter at this point, but follow me on MySpace. Thank you. My name's Greg Matthews.
Never Greg Matthews, everybody. Listen to the experts. Bitcoin guy, what should we invest?